of being with our client spotlight for May, Bob Funk. Bob, how are you today?
I'm doing very well, Chris. Thanks for asking.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see where this goes. Bob, I was looking back and you started with us towards the later part of January of this year. It was actually January 17th, I think we had our evaluation. Bob, in the first place, how did you find out about us?
Well, I live in a neighborhood in Northwest Tucson, and it's a 55 and older community. And I spend, time with the neighbors and so forth, and we try to use the pool every day. And in some of the folks coming into the pool, they mentioned working with Body Basics, and I was not familiar with you guys, so I interviewed them a little bit, talked about what they thought of the place, and come over to meet you and get the evaluation.
So ultimately, why did you decide to start training with us?
Well, I had to do something. It was nearly getting to the point of desperation for me. I'm 72 years old, or I'm going to be 72. And the last 10 years or so, things have really gone south. My strength has dissipated. My balance has gotten very bad. I'm a type 2 diabetic, so I've got some concerns regarding that. And, basically my stamina just wasn't there. I had trouble walking any distance at all, but I knew I had to do something. And from the reports that I got from the folks that use Body Basics, it seemed like a really, really good thing to try.
How would you describe your in-studio experience? Because I know we're virtual now, but how would you describe your in-studio experience once you got started with us?
Okay, well, the first time I had the pleasure of meeting Vadim, and this was the first session, and we spent a little bit of time getting to know each other, and you had worked with him to put a basic program together based upon the evaluation, and we went over that, and he described sort of how we were going to be working, and the first meeting really kind of made me very comfortable. It was a much more personal and realistic evaluation that Vadim did. And I liked the idea that each of the exercises or workouts that he would provide, there were multiple levels of ability required to do them. So you could start off with a particular exercise and work your way up to a little bit more difficult way of doing it. That was very, very heartening to me, because it's, one of the things people I think fear is going in and somebody throwing a 20-pound dumbbell at you and saying, okay, let's go. And it was not that. It was much more thoughtful and encouraging type of an experience.
So you had the opportunity to be in our studio for right about 2 months. Were there any particular successes that come at you when you think back?
I was thinking about that a little bit earlier, and it's going to sound a little strange, but after the first 2 sessions, I did not have the dreads, and I am well known for having the dreads if I have the least concern about any activity that I'm going to do, whether it's go to a party or go out to dinner. My mind works on what the most negative parts of it are going to be, and I begin to dread the opportunity. But this was a very positive thing. I did not have the dreads. What I was doing was going to be progressive in the right way, and it didn't frighten me. It didn't discourage me. I was looking forward to it.
Awesome. So Monday, March 16th, you had canceled in the morning. You had shared with me, hey, Bob's canceling indefinitely. He's really concerned about COVID-19. And that was really kind of the early stages for all of us. And Bob, you took the opportunity, though, to come into the studio. You wanted to talk to me in person, and you were really kind of not too excited. I want to take you back to that point and just kind of, if you could give some specifics on like what was going on in your mind as you were driving to Body Basics that day, and kind of go from there.
Well, I think a big part of it, Chris, was that I had never experienced any sort of workout virtually. I, seen them on me. It looked something that did not interest me. So I had been very encouraged by going to the studio, and frankly, I was really disappointed. Everybody's disappointed by the COVID-19 issues, but I was specifically disappointed about the inability to continue what I'd been doing for a couple of months that I had found to be very successful and helpful. So I walked in there to cancel. I walked in there to say, okay, give me a call when you're back open again, and we'll talk about it. Okay, and that's absolutely the way I walked into your office, and we spent a bit of time together, as you well know. And you were quite convincing. I liked Vadim. I liked the way he worked. So I wasn't concerned about that, other than nobody had any experience at this. And, I have a home. I have an office. I have really no equipment or anything. So I was looking at all those, there I go again, all those negative aspects of it, and wasn't real open to the positive side until we had a pretty long talk. And by the way, I always knew in the back of my mind, no matter where our conversation was, I could always quit, right? I sincerely decided before I left there that I was going to give this a shot. I wasn't going to go into it negatively. I really wanted to see how it worked, how it would compare to the studio experience, what it would be like working with Vadim on a screen as opposed to in person. Vadim and I spent about maybe a half hour just going through what would really be needed. I come over and got one of the balls from you. Very simple. And it was extremely painless to get set up to do it. And Vadim is able to see me. He's able to correct me if I do things wrong. You probably can tell, Chris, that I really like that virtual experience. I have found it surprisingly pleasant and effective. Probably come back to the studio, but I probably will, simply because it'll be available to me then. There's a little more discipline involved in actually physically going to the studio, which is probably a good thing for me. I would not be a real good person, I think, to work from home, if you know what I mean. I'd be easily distracted. Ooh, shiny. I'd lose track of where I was. So maybe the studio will be a better thing for me. But I'm not decided yet, because I really like the virtual.
Bob, for someone who's listening to this, who they know that they need a trainer, they've contemplated that, they recognize they have challenges with their own intrinsic motivation, and they could learn as well from having a professional. What would you say to that person?
First of all, I would say do not avoid this because of sticker shock. But, what better do any of us really have to invest in than our own health, our own well-being, our own happiness? What is better? So my first thing is, don't let that deter you. If it's a huge financial issue, then different story, of course. But if it's not, just the fact that there is a cost involved with this should be looked at as a value. You're getting something for what you pay for. A lot of our lives, we don't get much for what we pay for, but this time you do. So I'd say, please do it. Give it a try. Go through the evaluation for sure. Get to meet a couple of the trainers. They're all very, very nice people. Extremely nice people. They care. They're passionate. Just do it. You all are holding the cards, guys. If you don't want to do it longer, just stop. You can do that. But the old nothing ventured, nothing gained is very true in this case. And I feel strongly that if you venture, you'll gain. So
thank you so much for taking the time, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks very much. And everybody that watches this, remember, last set, best set. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, sir.